All right, everyone. CNN is, sort of following the crowd. It's funny because the missing link media, like the far left independent media and the missing link media, came out days ago to attack 4chan and 8chan and anonymous posting and saying, well, they're Nazis and evil. They sounded like Bill O'Reilly, which I'll get into. And now CNN brings up, the asshole of the pack, not the tail. I'm sure that there'll be some other people that jump aboard now that CNN has legitimized the claim to say, well, let's be clear here, 8chan and 4chan, we know what they are. They're basically Stormfront 2.0. They're Nazi repositories. Now, this isn't true. Like, if you go on 4chan, and I mean go on there, don't just fucking go on there once. Go on there for a period of time, like over the course of a week. Visit it at different times, because literally the people that are awake to post there changes these boards somewhat. Don't go to B, because you just see weird shit. It used to be fun and have like edgy things and trolls and shit posting and raids. Now it's just porn. Politically Incorrect is the page that I typically go on. There is Nazi stuff there. I mean, there's Jew jokes and stuff like that. But then there's also like how can white boys even compete threads, which has well endowed African American men usually on it. It's shitpostingville. It's fun. It's hilarious because people are fucking trolling and bothering each other the whole time. You got communist threads on there. You've got, Mommy Tulsi Gabbard threads or Bernie Sanders is pretty cool threads and stuff like that. It's not an echo chamber. If you actually spend time there, you'll find that there's more frank, honest, open discourse going on 4chan than there is on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook combined. Because people are posting anonymously. The fact that they can post anonymously lets them be more frank and honest about their opinions. This is what I've speculated for years now. God, it must have been fucking 4 or 5 years ago that I first pointed this out. 4chan is where you get honest opinions. Twitter and places like that are where you get sanitized opinions. Why? Because of direct censorship and people's self-censorship. If people, though, feel that they can post whatever the fuck they want, within the boundaries of the law, of course, and they can do that and not be identifiable by what they're posting, they will be more honest. They won't hold back as much. They will also shitpost more. It can be difficult to tell the difference. Sometimes people will say hyperbolic shit to piss others off, and sometimes they're being very serious. I would rather, and I know this isn't a popular opinion among soccer moms, but I think among people of at least slightly advanced intelligence, it must be pretty common to understand this. I would much rather have people who are potentially violent, which is, I know, a very generalistic term, shitpost on 4chan and say weird shit there and vent their anger and speak about things, and not be immediately ridiculed in an identifiable sense. They're not going to vent on Twitter or Facebook usually, unless they're right about, fucking one day out from going and killing people. I'd rather them vent themselves and be honest about their feelings, and maybe they get talked down, or maybe they just end up in a drunken shitpost fest or something. I'd rather them do that than go to a church or a mosque or a Walmart or a mall or something and shoot people. And I do believe it's cathartic. Yes, I believe that anonymous posting, I believe that you will see much more violent crime if you try to crack down on anonymous posting online. That's my theory. I think the crime rate will rise. And then I think all of these mind-numbed fucking so-called liberals who trust big government and big corporations, so they're not really liberal at all, they're just a bunch of authoritarian fucking ass munchers. I think that these people will then say, oh, the crime rate's still rising, we haven't done enough to stop white supremacy, as though white people or maleness or masculinity was responsible for the fucking problems. It's funny. They sit there all day and they say, well, white people are a problem, maleness is a problem. People of vaguely, supposedly right-wing political ideologies, all these things are problems. Hey, why are you guys so mad? It's like, hey, I'm going to insult you all day and wonder why you get a little annoyed. And then I'm going to tell you that there's an army of Nazis in the world trying to take over. And then when some leftist snaps and kills people, I'll be surprised at that too. That's what the lame stream does. 4chan's not doing that. 8chan's not doing that. YouTubers aren't doing that. No, it's fucking CNN and people like that are the ones doing that bullshit. Fucking blame 4chan. Now, I mentioned Bill O'Reilly. There's a famous, very cringy and hilarious image from back when Bill O'Reilly, you may not remember who that is, he was a big-time Fox News pundit. Now, he got canned off Fox in the wake of, I think, Ailes was kicked off first. They kicked Bill O'Reilly off because allegedly he was sexually harassing women on the job. Like, on a regular basis, and there were a bunch of settlements. This isn't an allegation. There were a bunch of settlements made to the tune of, what was it, 15 million total? It was like 5 or 6 different women at Fox claimed that he did weird shit. Like, he'd call them up, and he'd be playing with himself, allegedly. There was apparently a recording made by one of their producers of a call he made to her, where he was, like, saying weird shit. Howard Stern did a bit on this, which is why I know about it, but, you know, it was funny. Anyway, Bill O'Reilly, now disgraced. He has his, like, podcast. He still has a Twitter page and a podcast. It's funny. So, an independent commentator, if it was claimed that they sexually harassed or assaulted a bunch of women, they'd probably get deplatformed by these sites. Bill O'Reilly, he skates. He's still verified on Twitter, which means they agree with him as a person, which is interesting. That's what verification means on Twitter. Anyway, he had come out at the time and said 4chan is a hate machine. It's a far-left site that's enabling, I can't remember, like, sexual predators, I think he said at the time. So here you've got a 180. 10 years ago, Bill O'Reilly was saying 4chan was a far-left site, a bunch of commies. Oh my God, commies, and they were opposing Bush, stuff like that. Now all of a sudden it's a far-right site full of Nazis. Well, no, what it really is it's a shitposting site in which a lot of the posts, whether it's, you know, Jewish joke or joke about white people having small dicks or whatever, it's a joke. It's meant to be funny. It's meant to be antagonistic too. It's meant to cause people, a little bit of psychological anguish so that they can shitpost against each other. It's a troll repository. And sometimes it spawns crazy shit. Yes, if somebody takes it seriously on a regular basis, yeah, they might get a little bit black-pilled. That's not the fault of the site. It's people individually posting. You can't say that if 1 million people get together on a site and start posting weird shit, that the site itself is responsible if the growing zeitgeist of those individuals are influencing one another. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's just a platform. And it's fairly clearly a platform. 4chan is one of the most successful experiments of the entire internet's history. And by the way, if you attempt to take it off, it won't be like 8chan, which is far less populated. If you try to go after 4chan, go for the jugular of free speech online, you realize there are over 9,000 trolls there. You do realize this. A little bit of a tongue-in-cheek reference. It would be anarchy. There are more than just script kiddies using 4chan. It would be very funny to see the fallout on all the lamestream sites as they get fucked one by one. And they would get fucked. And there would be hell to pay, because you're talking about a massive number of people with sometimes very unique skill sets in the technological arena getting disenfranchised and having their rights violated. I don't think they'll be too fucking happy. And you realize there are a lot of larger commentators as well that have more of a standard presence, myself included, that are very, very fond of 4chan. Yet we're not going to be silent if it gets fucked in the ass. I don't even use 8chan. I'm going to defend them too. Free speech online is a good thing. It prevents crime. It increases economic output. It's one of the best things we've ever fucking invented in the world. Free speech in the sense of independent commentary and contribution from individuals, as opposed to, it's not like TV. TV is a bunch of producers get together, they make a show, people passively absorb it. They sit on the couch and vegetate and they passively watch it. On YouTube and 4chan and things like that, people can independently make stuff and others can consume it and they can interact with it and interact with one another. And I can talk to someone in Iceland, I can talk to someone in Argentina, I can talk to someone in Rwanda. I love the internet. I think it's a wonderful thing. The idea of changing something that doesn't need to be changed, it already works. It's already fine. A bunch of alarmist moron soccer moms and opportunistic billionaires are trying to convince right now average Joe American that there's some sort of problem with the way the internet functions. There is no problem that can't be solved by a free market of open discourse and ideas. Monopolism by the big corporations in tech is a much bigger problem than some random psychopath blaming 4chan for their violent actions. Much bigger problem. A bunch of billionaires or a rogue government can do so much more damage than some random psychopath can. Even when they're no guns, they go Timmy McVeigh mode and kill usually far more people. Even then, much lower risk than a rogue government that wants to crack down on free speech online, than a rogue business that has monopolistic power, abuses its fucking workers usually, and uses sweatshops, and somehow liberals will side with them over the evil 4chan. That's funny because when 4chan was at the forefront of fighting Scientology, you were all aboard it. You say, oh, it was anonymous, it's pretty cool. Yay, Guy Fawkes Mask Day. It was bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Maybe people need to have another masked anonymous period, only this time less cringy. Instead, and at the time it was funny because all the people that didn't like 4chan, they called it cringy then too. Oh, look at the neckbeards and stuff like that. Well, there's a Wikipedia article about the fallout from that. Couldn't have been that insignificant. Look up Project Chanology sometime. Some fun times. Now, 4chan thankfully is unlikely to go anywhere because it has more power than CNN could ever conceive of. You know, just because people are anonymously posting and saying weird shit there doesn't mean that there are millionaires posting there on a daily basis. There are people with hundreds of thousands or millions of fans on standard sites that post there on a regular basis. There are people like me. It's a random spattering of people. There are people with PhDs that post on 4chan. There are police that post. I'm sure there are politicians that post there. Of course there are. Don't be fucking stupid your entire life. Oh, it's a Nazi repository. No. There's literal communists use the site too, and they make their own threads. Good. They have free speech. It's a wonderful thing. I would think that liberals would generally support that, but I keep getting let down over the last couple of fucking years. That's about all. Peace out.